Last Wednesday, we were only $46 away from $4,000 in the $1,000 challenge, meaning that the $1,000 was almost $4,000. But then we had Thanksgiving. On Thursday, the markets were closed, and on Friday, NEO had a fallback, ending the week at $4.62. That leaving 8.2% profit since we bought NEO. More about that at the end of the podcast. You are listening to Trading Tips with Jim, the StockInvest.us podcast, as we are heading into week 28. Last week, and actually for the last few weeks, I've been saying that my personal bet is that the market should correct a little bit down, not by much, but a little bit. Didn't happen last week. Nasdaq up 3.49% to 18,352 points. Following, as I said, there is nothing in the way for Nasdaq to go straight to 20,000. And looking at the things moving ahead, we do know that the chances of interest rates cut has increased again. Reason for this is because unemployment rate is rising. It was up to 4.1% last week. Some of the reason why the markets went so good on Wednesday was numbers being a bit worse, actually, what the market expected, a little bit higher. Market was expecting around 4% unemployment rate, but it got up to 4.1, and that is easing the economy. Not good if you are an employee, of course, but stock market considers good until it reaches way too high level. And if you look at the work numbers, they are in an upturn. Usually you will hear in the news that new jobs have been added, but many of the people who has been off the job market due to good incentives, especially during all the money printing in COVID, incentives put in place, then went outside of the working force, living from different benefits which have been increased, are no longer able to do so. Due to the inflation and the increased living cost, more people have to go out to work, and that of course put a pressure that you can just expect to see continue. On Thursday there will be consumer price index numbers. This will be the numbers of the week, expected to come in at somewhat okay pace. I think if I remember correctly, it was 3.1% over the last 12 months and only 0.1% over the month. So over the year to go down to 3.1, increasing the chance for first rate cut in September. The professionals, they expect that is among 65% of them are expecting a rate cut in September. But I think inflation will not go away anytime soon. Actually, I think it will increase. It will be very interesting to see how these things will work out in the long term. In the job market, as I said, we see unemployment rate going up, and you can just read how many companies are either cutting their services or going out of services. And we are now heading into the quarter season. By the end of the week, JP Morgan, PepsiCo, etc. will have their quarter results. So we are starting the new quarter season, and then we will see how things really are. One thing that most agree upon is that we have too high expectations for the earnings. There is no way that the companies will be able to keep up with the expectations of the earnings. Last quarter we had some of the major stocks coming in above expectations, pushing the stocks, so-called pops. We had several pops during the quarter season where the market popped because major companies came with very strong results. The expectations that we will have pops for this quarter season is reduced quite heavily. Actually, many believe the opposite, that the expectations are way too high. Explained this many times in the podcast over the last few months, even a year, what is happening. Okay, so you have inflation, prices go up, can only be offset to the end consumer at a certain point. From that point, end consumer will start to drop out. And as I warned you, in some of these extraordinary products like coffee latte, etc., you will see how it will start to affect, because people will reduce the amount they buy. We saw Starbucks down 8%, and over the year they've been really falling hard. We see the same thing going across all of these who supply non-essentials. I mean, we can live drinking just black coffee, of course, below the coffee latte or the cold pressed coffee, whatever it is you fancy. But now they are struggling. And I advised you I would not sit in these types of businesses, being donuts or whatever you are into, because as you have to save, these are the typical places that will be taken first. It will open for a huge buying opportunities when these stocks have been hammered enough. Then it will open for the perfect buying opportunity, and I can promise you I will be one of them utilizing that. PepsiCo is Pepsi, something we really need in our daily life. You will know more about that on Friday when PepsiCo will have their numbers. Dow Jones didn't have as good week as Nasdaq. Dow Jones was up 0.65% over the week, ending at 39,376 points, struggling a little bit with the 40,000 point limit. We are in the summer season. I am in summer mood, meaning that I will have a short podcast this week. But if you already like it, why don't you just press the like button? Why don't you subscribe? Make sure that you will get the next few podcasts. 5 seasons, you can go back, listen to many of them. I have been very correct in many cases. Right now it seems like I'm a little bit off. Markets keep pushing upwards. I say that they can do it, but hold a chance on the edge that we are somewhere where things can start to roll down a bit. Oil prices still remain the same. They are at 82. I expect more pressure on oil. I expect more pressure on gold. But gold had a good week last week, up 2.1% or $50 to 2,385. We are flushing toward 2,500 target. I believe it will be reached very soon, and after that it will go up to 3,500. I'm very, very confident about these things. I even saw that crypto had a bad week last week. As I told you, I got back into crypto when Bitcoin was around 30. Before that I was in. For those who follow me knows how I've been trading in and out of crypto. Last time crypto had a huge fall, I was adding more to my crypto portfolio. Crypto, by the way, is something I just recommend you to have a small portion in. Money that you shouldn't need for sure. And of course you can do a gambling meme stock, but that should be your lottery ticket. It shouldn't be anything serious. You can win big, but you can also lose it very fast. I prefer some of the bigger coins like Bitcoin, etc., Ethereum, and think that it's a good thing to have a small item there. Also argued why this sounds very logical. We know that the dollar will be under pressure, and gold and crypto, major cryptos like Bitcoin, is expected to offset some of the risk, meaning that as a risk of the dollars when US no longer will be able to pay all their debt, which again is just increasing and increasing. Deficits are increasing and increasing, and at some point you will just reach a level where handling your debt will be way too big. And at this point the loss of confidence in the dollar will be strong, and people will seek other alternatives to invest their money, which I said it will be gold, and in my opinion also crypto will do good in that run. That is why I bought gold at $1,600, now $2,385, and I believe I will get much more out of the gold investment, something which I, by the way, also recommend if you're able, if you have enough. Sit a little bit in metals. Yes, they move slow. It's a slow game, but years passed very fast, and suddenly you have a nice return at a low risk, because it's something about adjusting your risk. 10-year Treasury yield, which is the expectations of the future interest rates hikes, are at 4.27, falling just by 1.6% last week as the job number came in. As I said, unemployment rate is increasing, so the expectations is that the Fed will cut their rates, and cutting the rates are good for the stock market, because if you cannot get money in the fixed bonds, etc., you tend to increase your risk going into stock market. So here we can easily have the push. And here we can have the push bringing Nasdaq easily up to 20,000, even more. Last week, some interesting facts is that a broader amount of stocks were going up. Not only the major stocks, but the broader amount of stocks actually had a good week. In the signal market, so what are the signals saying? So I told you this week we will have consumer price index numbers on Thursday. We will have a few quarter results. It's mainly Friday, JP Morgan, PepsiCo, and Wells Fargo, I think it was on Friday, that will have quarter results. So end of week will be interesting. Before that is not so much interesting stuff. What is new, however, is that leftists won in France, leftists won in UK. That means that we still will have high pressure on the war games, meaning that the industry will have yet another push. We will have yet another push for more violence. We will have yet more push for unresolved conflicts, prolonging everything. So everything still indicates that the one place that you want to be is, of course, in the weapon industry. But I repeated this now. For the boring part of 3 years, I think I've been saying the same thing, and stocks just been moving up if you've been into the right stocks, of course. Back to what I wanted to say about signals. So what are the signals saying for this week? If you look at the chart itself, Nasdaq is within a very nice rising trend. Everything just indicates that it will continue upwards. Even the relative strength index is moving a little bit back. Now it has very strong support around 17,700 points. Last week when we spoke, it was balancing, and the support was at 17,000 points. So if it breaks down below 17,700, 800, it should go to 17,000 or maybe even 16,800. But we have again a lot of accumulated volume. I love developing signals. That's what I really like to do. I develop products. You find them at stockinvest.us, Golden Star, and all these things. And lately I've been working more and more on market indicators. Now, how can we do all the things that I say? How can we translate this into algorithms to try give you a view products that you will see come up? And one of them where I just look at liquidity in the market, because we know that liquidity matters now. When liquidity is getting too high, you usually burn out the amount of cash, and you have usually a correlation between volume and the price movement, either if it's in a stock or if it is in the market, the index itself. I did testing over all stocks, not only the index weighted stocks, but all stocks, and they signaled using these techniques, signaled a sell signals for the first time in months and months. It gave after having buy signals, it gave a sell signal for Nasdaq. Will be very interesting to see if this holds water. That it actually will happen. It gave it around 18,000. It published a sell signal. Not sure that it will happen, because right now, looking at everything, it's more probability that we'll just go straight to 20,000 than we will have a downturn. Anyway, very interesting signals work, and that will actually be the lesson of the day. Your bias should not lead you. I did that mistake, even been trading since 1996, should be experienced. I did that one mistake, a human mistake. Someone argued on LinkedIn that Bitcoin had a double top, which was very correct, and should go down. Now I think Bitcoin was around, let's say 65,000 or something, and that Bitcoin should fall down. I checked it and I commented and I just looked at Bitcoin, knowing that I have quite much myself. I looked at that and I agree, because there was a double top in Bitcoin, but it indicated a downturn to $60,000. So I argued that I thought it would be the case. The double top was around 62,000, and I argued that now the potential has already been taken out because it had started to fall. And I said, or comment in this comment, that now you forget to see that the potential of the double top is already taken out. Double tops really works very well. Same thing with double bottoms; they usually work very well. I will not explain the theory behind everything, but when you have double top, you usually see a correction down, very often signs of trend changes, etc. So if you have a double top, it is in most cases more negative than positive when we are talking a little longer term. So I just argue that you forget one thing, that you have already taken out the potential. Nasdaq is within a Bitcoin is within a rising trend, and a few other things. But I also saw that there was not much support under the current level. There was a little bit around 60,000, then very little support. Now, because I hold Bitcoin, I got into this bias mood, just maybe prepping myself, but I should have been professional, agreed to the first thing, which I did, double top. And when a double top is taken out, you usually have a little reaction up before it continues downward. I should have commented on all these things which I really know, but I just got very stuck on the idea of Bitcoin being in a trend, whereas I should have put all these other things like support, resistance levels, and these, and that is the lesson. Try to avoid your bias. If anything, trust your stomach feeling, trust the first feeling you have, because your instincts are usually most right. What we usually do is we have an instinct, but we don't use it. We over rationalize everything, so we move away from the first idea, either to buy or sell, when it turns out in most cases the first instinct was correct. But let algorithms work in your benefit, because algorithms they don't care about anything. They are just simple mathematics. It's just one and zeros. They really do not care about anything. There is no emotion, there is no bias. They treat everything 100% the same way. These things are very, very beneficial, especially if you find things that works very well for you, because there are many indicators and there is many stocks, and some indicator works very well on some stock, not other stocks. So you have to use this understanding of what works for you and your trading pattern. So if you are a slow trader, meaning that you have to evaluate before going into a stock, you usually miss the first buying opportunity, which usually is represented, for instance, by extremely low RSI or very high RSI, that you use these initial endpoints. You have to actually see that things are turning before you're buying. If you're a slow buyer, you should use a little other indicators, like moving averages maybe will fit you better than these heavy momentum indicators like MACD or RSI. But in general, let technology help you. It's a good tool. That's the one thing that we are trying to do at the stockinvest.us, is to give you tools that will help you in your trading. We list the stop loss levels, we list the relative strength index levels, we list so many indicators, support, resistance, helping you to find better levels. Use it for what it is worth. And AI, of course, we are into AI. AI has been opened up. We are programming the AI every day to get better and better. And here you can ask any question you want in any language you want. Expect things to be a little off now and then, because AI has a tendency of hallucinating, but we are working all the so-called endpoints where we feed AI with better and better information and try to structure the information so the AI can answer even more correctly. Maybe the best tool I have seen in years and years. I'm super happy about it, because it fills so many of the wishes and the dreams that I always had. When you create a web page, you have to create a setting which most people can understand. You cannot have too much information, you cannot have too little information. We get lots and lots of requests on help desk. What does this mean? What does that mean? Now you finally can just go to an AI bot and it can explain it for you. It can put things into context, and we can work that information which really matters, meaning future predictions, meaning all the things that will allow the AI to give you the most optimal answer within known technologies, known like technical analysis, because we already pre-program it. It also accesses all the fundamental information. So we have everything in one single place. All you have to do is write your prompt. What do you want to ask the AI about? Well, we have to move on. We have to get to the $1,000 challenge, but the signals are as follow right now. 28% of all stocks are giving buy signals from all the stocks that we analyzed. That is up from 24% last week. It was a positive turn in many markets last week. Nasdaq 17 down from 20, so Nasdaq amount of buy signals actually fell at Nasdaq. Somewhat like it, because if these are getting low enough, it just is another buying opportunity. And one of the reasons why I think Nasdaq might continue upwards is because so many stocks since 2023 actually fell. And as I said, these will now be picked up, and they have the opportunity, if there is money enough, to push market upwards. New York Stock Exchange 31 up from 30 last week, London at 26, Frankfurt 40, Tokyo 40, Shenzhen China has been struggling now for more than a year, and can just check the economy at 7, but that means in my way of thinking that there is huge opportunities in Shenzhen. And I'm not sure if I said it, but yes, crypto had a fall last week. I used the chance to grab a little more. Will I be correct? I will keep you informed how it's moving. I more than doubled my crypto portfolio. Now I added a little bit more. Will we see if I can continue to grow it, or if crypto is heading for a major fall? Nobody knows. I don't know. I'm just in it to win it, trying to do the right decisions, because in the end it's all about decision. Try to increase your gains, reduce your losses, and for crypto it's not very easy to have stop loss. You can do stop loss, of course, but as I told you, this is a much more long-term investment for me. Now I'm just checking the screen here to see if there's anything I have forgotten. I don't think there is anything I have forgotten. If so, we will take it up later. About the $1,000 challenge, we have NIO. And last week, NIO been a little bit up and down. When I got into NIO, I think it's three weeks since we got into NIO. I told you it might be a slow week that week, and the week after I said, I think it will have a good week. Last week I was not sure because it was at the lower end, but then it kicked off Tuesday and Wednesday, especially good, bringing NIO up to 504 high on the Wednesday, which was a shortened trading day. And we were so close to $4,000. Actually, it was up at $3,954. So we were $46 away from 4,000. Meaning that $1,000, which I started last, I have to go back. I cannot remember exactly if it was September. Last September. We are getting closer to a year soon. But I started with a $1,000, and I said to you, I will try to grow it as fast as I can. Haven't grown as fast as I was hoping. We are using different techniques, but still, it is somewhat okay. NIO fell back on Friday, ending the week at 462, leaving the $1,000 challenge at $3,641.38. So $1,000 has become $3,641.38. We are way up in the plus. 8.2% profit in NIO so far. Yes, I am sitting in NIO. I will be sitting a little bit more if you look at Tesla. Tesla had such a nice run, but you heard it first here in this podcast that it would happen. I have been advising you very much lately to get into EV, as I think they will have a rebound, and I still think it will be good to be in EV. It will be a lot of up and down. I have so wide stop loss on NEO that it didn't get cut, even falling from 504 trailing stop loss, that it didn't even get cut by stop loss. The reason is I think NEO has a huge chance of continuing to push upwards. Actually, I see it more up like around 10. Will it happen? I don't know, but I think there is more upside. I personally will stay at the $1,000 challenge. We are staying in NEO. It might get cut by stop loss if we start to fall down. That may very well happen. But I think still there is a huge upside in NEO. Should you buy NEO if you're not into NEO now? Well, I bought it at 427. I know a few of you followers were buying at 414, etc., a little lower. Should you buy NEO now at 462? If NEO drops a little bit back, I think it is a buying opportunity, but it comes with a risk. Well, that's it. We should be some 25 minutes into the podcast. I will not make it any longer. It's summer. It is warm here in Vilnius. I plan to work a little bit more, then enjoy the rest of the evening outside while the weather still is good. I hope you do the same. I hope that when we get to the end of the week that your portfolio will be greener than by the beginning of the week. And of course, I hope that you will be back next Monday when next podcast will be out. And I also hope that during that week, maybe NEO pushed further up. If not, I already have ready candidates for the next pick in the $1,000 challenge, where we again, as I said, try to grow $1,000 as fast as we can. Until next week, just have a beautiful week. Bye.
Welcome to StockInvest.us Stock Analysis. We remind you that trading involves a high risk of losing money, and that you should speak with a financial advisor before buying or selling any securities. You should not base your investment decision upon StockInvest.us. By using the information you agree and are held liable for your own investment decisions.